Hey, New World News, July 7th, breaking news out of the UK is that Boris Johnson will resign his position as Prime Minister over in Britain. Now, he is going to stay on until they can find a replacement or an interim replacement, but he is just the latest in British politicians who are resigning their post in wake of a lot of scandals and the COVID pandemic and a whole lot of other things going wrong. Of course, the Jeffrey Epstein thing made it all the way back to the royal family with apparent ties into politicians. You've got what happened from the fallout from the economy and the politicians. You had Brexit several years ago. British politics has just been a mess for years, and it's just not getting any better with the latest announcement from Boris Johnson that he will resign, but stay on. He's going to resign immediately, but stay on long enough to find a replacement. Let's go over and take a look at the story of the latest British politician who is resigning his position. Okay, story from the NPR about Boris Johnson resigning not over policies, but deep concerns about his character. So he's out front of 10 Downing Street in London, of course, where a lot of other people resigned. He finally resigned as the leader of the Conservative Party under heavy pressure from lawmakers in his own party. His resignation caps a remarkable political career filled with highs, lows, and almost too many scandals to count, but he'll stay in office until they find a new leader who will take over as prime minister. He said it's painful to not be able to see through so many ideas and projects, but as we've seen at Westminster, the herd instinct is powerful. When the herd moves, it moves. This comes after dozens of officials, aides, and members of his cabinet quit his government, saying they could no longer serve under his leadership. Several former cabinet ministers told him he should resign. The announcement will come next week for the timetable to choose the new prime minister. Lawmakers in Johnson's Conservative Party credit him with driving Brexit through the British Parliament after his predecessor, Theresa May, was unable to. He also led the Tories to a historical landslide election in 2019, leaving the party with an 80-seat majority in the House of Commons. It was the largest victory since Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher's win in 1987. Johnson, however, was ultimately forced to resign, not over policy or political differences, but because of perception about his character. Many conservative lawmakers, as well as many members of the public, do not trust him. A poll last month by the research firm YouGov found nearly 3 in 4 Britons viewed Johnson as untrustworthy. 69% in the same poll said he should resign. The scandal that ultimately ended his nearly 3-year premiership was triggered by its decision to promote a lawmaker, Chris Pincher, to the position of power, even though Johnson knew Pincher had been the subject of sexual harassment complaint. Initially, the Prime Minister's office said Johnson had not known about any specific allegations. On Monday, after more allegations emerged against the lawmaker, Johnson was forced to acknowledge that he had known. Dominic Cummings, Johnson's former chief advisor with whom he has had a bitter falling out, said Johnson has referred to lawmaker as Pincher by name, Pincher by nature. Johnson did not deny he used that phrase and apologized for appointing Pincher. Pincher resigned last week as deputy chief whip in the House of Commons over the scandal, and Johnson suspended him from the party. On its own, the scandal would not have been a resignation matter for the prime minister, but some of Johnson's own cabinet members saw it as a part of a long-standing pattern. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Johnson insisted that his staff had followed all the government's own social distancing rules. Later emerged that his staff has held a series of parties that included people getting drunk, spilling red wine on walls. Meanwhile, most Britons followed their government's regulations, and some were even unable to say goodbye to dying loved ones. Many here were furious with Johnson and his staff. Again, rules for us and not them. It's a pattern all over the world. People are like, oh, it's just the U.S. This is all over the world. Yeah, and all over the world, they took advantage of it. Johnson's cabinet members tired of defending the prime minister to the news media, only to learn later they'd been given false information. So basically, everything he did was just a lot of lies. He did things his way. He's 58. You can read the rest of the story, but resigning today officially as prime minister of the UK, and they will get a new one in the Conservative Party, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and we'll get an update, and if so, I'll do the video on that. As always, thanks for watching. Hit that like button, guys. Turn it blue, the big thumb below this video. Turn it blue. It helps the YouTube algorithm and will help me out here on the channel. And subscribe to the channel so we can get to 1,000 subscribers. Can't wait to do it. Hopefully, you'll all be here for that. Until next time, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you